Hello everyone, welcome to Movie Review UK. My name is MJ and today I'm going to be reviewing Star Wars The Last Jedi. Star Wars The Last Jedi is directed by Rian Johnson and it is the second instalment in the new trilogy, i.e. the 8th instalment in the main core Star Wars series so far, or the Skywalker saga as they're calling it, because it focuses on Skywalker characters from Anakin into Darth Vader, Luke into whatever he becomes in this film. Who could say? Not that I'm saying anything, sort of just whatever. And then Kylo Ren, who is a sort of a Skywalker, kind of. Skywalker bloodline. There you go, there's a spoiler for Force Awakens, but I'd hope you wouldn't be watching a review for The Last Jedi if you haven't seen The Force Awakens. So, this has been possibly the most divisive Star Wars film of all time, which I think is absolutely fascinating. I think largely with all the other films, most people are on the same page. I'm probably on a slightly different page from everyone else. I think I actually quite like the original prequel trilogy. The first is, yeah, you've got things like Jar Jar Binks, which is just horrific, and the overall film itself, focusing on all the politics and just trade disputes, in an uninteresting way. Like that type of subject, finance very loosely, is interesting in the right environment. Looking at The Big Short, looking at Margin Call, doesn't really work in a Star Wars film. But what you did have in those original films was incredible lightsaber battles and yeah, big scope, massive battles, which is good. But largely, Then of course you've got the original trilogy, which I like. I don't have any like affinity for them. I didn't watch them when they came out. I'm too young for that. But I did watch them as a child and loved them and loved the concept of Star Wars itself. You know, lightsabers, space battles, quirky characters, all that kind of thing. And that's, I think, what you get. And a lot of heart from the original trilogy. And then this new one, this new trilogy is a very much modernised, sewing in elements really from all of the movies so far. So you've got the modern sort of visual effects that work so well, and it enhances the visual effects of the prequel trilogy, and it makes better all of the sort of practical effects that are seen in the original trilogy. So it combines those elements very well, along with new characters, a bit more diversification, which is important and very good, along with slightly more modern filmmaking techniques, stories and such. So that's really good. I really enjoyed The Force Awakens. I particularly liked the introduction of the new cast. I wouldn't say that it was without its flaws, and I think that some of those flaws are continued on. I think that Daisy Ridley... Now, I like her, and I like her character as Rey. So this is not even particularly critical, but I do think she comes across as somewhat wooden sometimes. But that's fine. It sort of works for me, because I also think that Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, is not a tremendously good actor, and he comes across as not so great at times too. And I think that's true for the original trilogy. I think it's certainly true for The Last Jedi. Now, as I say, The Last Jedi has been incredibly divisive among fans. I've heard a lot of different, sort of wide amount of criticism and praise. I've heard some people say it's the best Star Wars film of all time. I've heard some people say it's the worst. So it really is a hugely divisive thing in the Star Wars community, fan community. I actually loved the film. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. There was one key thing that I didn't really like. This will be a spoiler-free review, so I won't say exactly what it is. But there is some specific type of thing that I expect from Star Wars films, and this film lacked one of those things, which happens to be the most important thing for me. So it was a fairly big thing, you know, for me, and it still is. I'm not going to pretend that it isn't. But I have to say, it didn't stop me enjoying this film so much. I think the characters are largely very good. I think that probably one of the weaker points is a fairly weak and unnecessary side plot that lengthens the movie's running time to 2.5 hours. And I think if that was cut out, you'd have a much more concise film and a much more enjoyable film with a slightly better pacing. So from a filmmaking point of view, it improves it, and it just gets rid of some boring bits, basically. The characters, for the most part, are very good, and there's some really stunning action sequences. I think there is one key action sequence in particular that gives me chills and is absolutely incredible. It's one of my favourite scenes in the whole of Star Wars, and I think that this movie has actually got some of the better space battles as well. There's some really stunning space battles, particularly the one that the film opens with is amazing. There's some great vehicle designs, and I love the villains. I think Snoke is a great villain. He's very one-dimensional, and I think he serves his purpose, so he's very good to the film. But this really is Kylo Ren's film for me, and possibly Kylo Ren's trilogy. Kylo Ren I thought was fantastic in The Force Awakens, but he steps it up another level in this. He sort of becomes, it distills his character down, which I think is great, and it reinforces him as a beacon of something. I won't necessarily say what, but it reinstills Kylo Ren's purpose, and I think that is fantastic. And Adam Driver does an exceptional job of his portrayal of this fantastic new character. His relationship with Rey is amazing as well. I really liked their dynamics through the film, and it's got some surprising elements. I have to say I am glad that... oh no, I shouldn't... nah. I have to say that I hope that the next film moves more away from the original trilogy characters and starts to let the new characters breathe a bit more on their own, because I think that's sort of what they need, and I'm very excited for the 9th instalment. So, some really good battle scenes, some amazing locations, some absolutely stunning cinematography, a few niggles, some of them larger than others, but it does not stop this being a fantastic film in my eyes. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I give it a very high 8 out of 10. Thank you very much for watching my review of The Last Jedi. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. If you've got any questions for me or you want to see me review specific films, let me know in the comments below, and subscribe for more videos. Cheers.